Dreamers, we are about to dive into a case that I would argue is the motherlode of all things you would expect to never happen in our justice system here in the United States. By the end of the story, if you are angry or sad, if you find yourself in disbelief or disillusioned or embittered about this travesty of justice, trust me, you're not alone. The crime itself, a horrifying massacre that stunned a quiet rural community, was only compounded by a police investigation tainted with lies, manufacturing and destruction of evidence, cover-ups, witness intimidation, racism, and the overwhelming desire to force evidence to fit their narrative by any means necessary. There is who I believe to be an innocent man sitting on California's death row as we speak. 15 years and 7 months ago, he was scheduled to be put to death by lethal injection in what is known as the death chamber in San Quentin State Prison. At the age of 46 at the time, he had been in prison for more than 20 years and was slated to become the 11th man executed in California since the death penalty was reestablished in 1978. The governor of California at the time, Arnold Schwarzenegger, refused to order a stay for what would be the very first execution of his term, citing overwhelming evidence of the condemned man's guilt. But I say, Schwarzenegger, you were wrong. And by the grace of the Ninth Circuit Federal Appeals Court, who intervened in the final hours of what was to be this man's last night on earth, they ordered his execution to be stayed. 3 hours and 42 minutes before the state of California was set to end this man's life. 3 hours and 42 minutes away from putting who I believe to be an innocent man to death. And just a few hours after that, the United States Supreme Court refused to overturn the federal appellate court's decision, marking the first time in a very long time that our country's highest court agreed with a stay of execution in California. As it stands now, nobody on California's death row is going to be executed anytime soon, if ever again. As a matter of fact, even though it is still on the books and defendants can still be sentenced to death, the death chamber has essentially been decommissioned and dismantled as of this year. So this man, who I believe is factually innocent, along with more than 700 men and women currently living on death row, all have a reprieve for now. So how and why is this condemned man still alive today? How did he manage to dodge death to live another day? Well, it's because he has a lot of supporters, and not just your run-of-the-mill picketers. He's got some big names backing him. Sean Penn, Danny Glover, Janine Garofalo, Angela Davis, Kim Kardashian, Reverend Jesse Jackson, even the Pope. Dozens of politicians and countless everyday people are pulling for him. And it's not just because they are anti-death penalty advocates, though they may or may not be. That is not the issue here at hand. They're pulling for him because he is innocent. Coming up later this week, California Dreaming will be delving deep into the story, how all of this happened, and why I strongly believe an innocent man is sitting on death row for murders that he did not commit. We will be presenting a multi-part series going over all the facts of this case in great detail. And by the time we are finished, I'm certain most of you will agree that this man has unjustly spent 35 years condemned to die. Stay tuned, dreamers. I promise it will be worth the wait.